Welcome to In the Field Audio Bible, where you are invited to find rest, renewal, and quiet joy in God's living Word. I'm Christy, your host, and it's a privilege to share this sacred space with you, a place where hearts can pause, worries can settle, and souls can draw near to the gentle presence of Christ. Every episode here is more than just a reading. It's a journey we take together. Maybe you are looking for comfort, searching for wisdom, or just needing a quiet moment to soak in the presence of Scripture. Whatever brings you here, you belong in this circle. Before we open today's passage, let's pause and remember, every verse is a gift meant to be received with open hands and shared with open hearts. At inthefieldAudioBible.com, you can return to the passages that bring you strength, spend time with the words that inspire you, and connect with others on this same journey of faith. When you listen, you're leaning into the voice of the shepherd, and when you share, you help this living story grow by inviting someone else to hear God's word too. So let's step forward together, side by side, into the richness of God's word, just for Him and just for you. I, David, son of Jesse, speak these words as a song to the Lord on the day He delivered me from the hand of all my enemies and from the hand of Saul. I do not sing them as a man guessing at mercy or as a poet reaching for a beautiful line. I sing them as a man who has tasted fear like dust in his mouth, who has felt the cold edge of pursuit night after night, and who has watched the Lord turn the very ground beneath me into a hiding place and a pathway. If you have ever had a season where you could not exhale fully, where you listened for footsteps that were not there, where you measured your days by what might go wrong, then come closer. Sit with me in this song, because it is not a polished speech. It is a rescue story. The air of these years has been thin with danger. There are mornings when the sun rises over the hills of Judah as if nothing is wrong. Gold spilling over stone, birds lifting their songs into the clean blue, and yet my heart has already been running for hours. Even when my body is still, my mind is scanning the ridgelines, counting shadows, listening for the smallest shift in the wind that might carry the sound of men approaching. Saul's anger has been a long spear thrown across my life. It has followed me from palace halls to wilderness caves, from the warmth of the community to the loneliness of exile. And the strangest part is that I once loved him. I once played music to soothe the torment in his spirit. I once stood before him with a harp in my hands and hope in my chest, believing the Lord could heal what was broken. But jealousy is a fire that does not ask permission before it spreads. It consumes reason. It twists the face of a man until even kindness becomes suspicious. And so I became a fugitive in my own land, hunted not because I had betrayed Israel, but because I had been faithful in battle and the people sang about it. I have learned that sometimes your obedience will not protect you from being misunderstood, and sometimes the very gifts God gives you will become the reason others resent you. I have learned that a crown can be promised and still feel impossibly far away when you are sleeping on a rock and waking to the taste of smoke. There were nights when the wilderness felt like a living thing, wide, watchful, and full of hidden mouths. The caves were not romantic shelters. They were damp and dark, their ceilings low enough to press your thoughts downward. The smell of earth clung to everything. Bats stirred above. Water dripped somewhere in the black. Men whispered, and every whisper felt too loud. We would hold our breath when we heard movement outside, because even the scrape of a sandal against stone could mean the end. And yet in that darkness, I began to understand something I had not understood in the green pastures of my youth. The Lord is not only the God of songs and celebrations, He is the God of narrow places. He is the God of breath held behind stone. You may think of deliverance as a single moment, one dramatic turn, one invisible miracle, one instant where the threat disappears. But deliverance often comes in layers. It comes as strength to endure another day when you thought you could not. It comes as wisdom to choose the harder mercy instead of the easier revenge. It comes as an unseen hand guiding your steps away from a trap you never noticed. It comes as timing, holy timing, when the enemy arrives a moment too late or turns aside without knowing why. I have watched the Lord deliver me like that again and again until my life itself became evidence that God is not distant. And still, there were days when I could not see the pattern. There were moments when I asked the Lord why the anointed king of Israel was chasing me like a criminal. There were moments when my men looked at me with questions in their eyes, questions they did not always speak, but I could feel them. How long will this last? Where is God in this? Are we going to die out there? The wilderness does that to a man. It strips away the parts of you that can pretend. It leaves you with what is real: your fear, your faith, your anger, your hope. It forces you to decide what kind of man you will be when no one is applauding. I remember the weight of leadership in those years, not the kind that comes with a throne and a title, but the kind that comes when hungry men are looking to you for direction. Some of them were broken by debt. Some were bitter by injustice. Some were simply desperate. They gathered to meet in the caves and in the strongholds, and I felt the responsibility settle on my shoulders like a cloak I had not yet grown into. I could not feed them with promises alone. I could not protect them with confidence alone. I had to learn to listen for the Lord's voice in the middle of the chaos, to wait when everything in me wanted to rush, to pray when my hands wanted to grasp. And then there were those moments, the moments that still make my heart tremble when I remember them. When Saul was within reach, when the Lord placed him close enough that I could have ended the chase with one swift decision. One strike, and the threat would have been gone. My men urged me. Their eyes were bright with the logic of survival. Surely this is God's answer, they said. Surely this is the Lord delivering your enemy into your hand. But I could not do it. I could not lift my hand against the Lord's anointed. I could not take the throne by bloodshed, even if the bloodshed seemed justified. Do you understand what it is to hold back when you have every reason to retaliate? To choose restraint when your wounds are fresh? To refuse the shortcut because you fear God more than you fear your enemy? That is not weakness. That is worship. That is faith that believes God can fulfill His promises without your sin. That is faith that says, the Lord who called me will also keep me. And in those moments, the wilderness became a sanctuary. The cave became a place where my heart was tested and refined. This song is born out of that kind of life. It is not written from a distance. It is written from the inside of the storm. It is the memory of what it felt like when death pressed close, when trouble wrapped around me like cords, when the waters of chaos rose and threatened to swallow me whole. It is the testimony of what happened when I cried out to the Lord and He heard me. Not as a vague spiritual idea, but as a living God who responds. When I say the Lord delivered me, I am not speaking in soft metaphors. I am speaking of the Lord as my rock, steady when everything else shifts. I am speaking of Him as my fortress, strong when I am exposed. I am speaking of Him as my deliverer, active, intentional, personal. I am speaking of the Lord as my shield when arrows are flying, as the horn of my salvation when I am weak, as my stronghold when the enemy surrounds. These are not titles I learned in school. These are names I earned in the wilderness. And because this is a song, it carries the sound of lived experience. It rises and falls like breath. It moves from terror to praise, from memory to proclamation, from the darkness of danger to the brightness of rescue. It speaks of the Lord as if the heavens themselves respond to His presence. Earth trembling, mountains shaking, thunder rolling like a chariot across the sky. Some will hear these images and think they are too large, too dramatic. But when you have been delivered, your language grows. When you have been rescued from the edge, you need words big enough to hold the weight of what God has done. I have seen storms sweep over the hills, turning the sky into a bruised canopy and the valleys into rivers. I have heard thunder crack so close it felt like the world was splitting. I have watched lightning stitch the darkness with sudden light. And in those moments, I have thought of the Lord, not because I am trying to force meaning into weather, but because creation itself seems to remember its maker. If the Lord can command the skies, if He can set boundaries for the sea, if He can hold the stars in their courses, then He can also hold my life. He can also hold yours. This song also remembers the long road of becoming. Deliverance is not only about escape, it is also about transformation. The Lord did not merely keep me alive. He trained my hands for battle. He steadied my feet on high places. He taught me to move with courage when fear would have made me freeze. He enlarged my steps beneath me so I would not slip. He strengthened me, not so I could boast in myself, but so I could fulfill what He had appointed. There is a difference between surviving and being shaped. The Lord did both. And listen, this matters for you too, because you may be in a season where you feel hunted, even if no one is chasing you with a spear. You may be pursued by anxiety that never sleeps, by grief that keeps returning, by memories that ambush you without warning, by responsibilities that feel heavier than you can carry. You may be facing enemies that are not flesh and blood, but are just as real in their impact. This song is not only my song, it becomes a vocabulary for your own deliverance. It gives you language when your prayers feel stuck in your throat. As we entered these words together, I want you to imagine the landscape that held them. Picture the rugged hills and the narrow passes, the scattered shrubs and thorny brush that catch at your clothing as you move. Picture the caves carved into limestone, their mouths like open wounds in the side of the earth. Picture the night sky stretched wide above the wilderness, stars sharp as flint, moonlight silvering the ridges. Picture men huddled close around a small fire that must be kept low, because light can betray you. Picture the tension in the air when you know you are not safe, and yet you still choose to worship. And then picture the moment after deliverance, the moment when the chase ends, the moment when your shoulders drop because you realize you are not being followed, the moment when you can sleep without jolting awake, the moment when you can breathe deeply again and the air tastes like freedom. That is the day I am speaking from when I sing to the Lord. That is the day when the Lord delivered me from the hand of all my enemies and from the hand of Saul. Not because I was stronger than Saul, not because I was clever enough to outlast him, but because the Lord was faithful. There is a tenderness in that deliverance too, because Saul was not only my enemy, he was also a tragedy. He was a man who could have been great, a man who was chosen and gifted and yet slowly hollowed out by fear and pride. I do not sing these words with gloating. I sing them with awe. I sing them with the sober understanding that if the Lord does not keep a man, he can lose himself even while sitting on a throne. And I sing it with gratitude that the Lord kept me, not only from Saul's spear, but from becoming Saul in my own heart. So as you listen, let this song become a shelter for you. Let it be a cave of refuge in the middle of your own wilderness. Let it remind you that God hears. Let it remind you that God moves. Let it remind you that the Lord is not indifferent to the cries of his people. And if you are tired, if you have been running for a long time, let these words be a place where your soul can stop running, even when your circumstances have not yet changed. Stay with me now. Listen as I sing the song of deliverance. Listen as I name the Lord my rock and my fortress. Listen as the memory of danger turns into praise. And as the song unfolds, I want you to notice how honest it is, how it does not hide the fear, but it also does not end in fear. It moves toward trust. It moves toward testimony. It moves toward the God who reaches down, takes hold of a man and draws him out of deep waters. If you are ready, settle your heart. Let the noise around you soften. Let your shoulders unclench. Let your breathing slow. You are not alone in this listening. You are not alone in your wilderness. The Lord who delivered me is the same Lord who sees you. And these words are an invitation to remember, an invitation to praise before you feel strong, an invitation to trust before you see the whole path. Now, let's take a moment to quiet our hearts and listen to the word itself. As you hear these verses, let them settle deep within you, bringing comfort when you are weary, conviction when you need direction, and encouragement for whatever lies ahead. Whether you are nestled in a quiet corner or moving through the busyness of your day, allow God's word to meet you right where you are and speak to your soul in this very moment. I hope you have your favorite cup of tea or coffee. Sit back, relax, and let's step into the sacred text of the Book of Psalms, chapter 18. The Book of Psalms, chapter 18. To the leader, a psalm of David, the servant of the Lord, who addressed the words of this song to the Lord on the day when the Lord delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Saul. He said, I love you, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God, my rock in whom I take refuge, my shield, and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. I call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised, so I shall be saved from my enemies. The cords of death encompassed me. The torrents of perdition assailed me. The cords of Sheol entangled me. The snares of death confronted me. In my distress, I called upon the Lord. To my God, I cried for help. From his temple, he heard my voice, and my cry to him reached his ears. Then the earth reeled and rocked. The foundations also of the mountains trembled and reeled because he was angry. Smoke went up from his nostrils and devouring fire from his mouth. Glowing coals flamed forth from him. He bowed the heavens and came down. Thick darkness was under his feet. He rode on a cherub and flew. He came swiftly upon the wings of the wind. He made darkness his covering around him, his canopy thick, clouds dark with water. Out of the brightness before him, there spoke through his clouds hailstones and coals of fire. The Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the Most High uttered his voice, and he sent out his arrows and scattered them. He flashed forth lightnings and routed them. Then the channels of the sea were seen, and the foundations of the world were laid bare at your rebuke, O Lord, at the blast of the breath of your nostrils. He reached down from on high. He took me. He drew me out of mighty waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from those who hated me, for they were too mighty for me. They confronted me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my support. He brought me out into a broad place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands, he recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of the Lord, and have not wickedly departed from my God. For all his ordinances were before me, and his statutes I did not put away from me. I was blameless before him, and I kept myself from guilt. Therefore the Lord has recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his sight. With the loyal you show yourself loyal. With the blameless you show yourself blameless. With the pure you show yourself pure. And with the crooked you show yourself shrewd. For you deliver a humble people, but the haughty eyes you bring down. It is you who light my lamp. The Lord, my God, lights up my darkness. By you I can outrun a troop, and by my God I can leap over a wall. This God, his way is perfect. The promise of the Lord proves true. He is a shield for all who take refuge in him. For who is God except the Lord? And who is a rock besides our God? The God who has girded me with strength and made my way safe. He made my feet like the feet of a deer and set me secure on the heights. He trains my hands for war so that my arms can bend a bow of bronze. You have given me the shield of your salvation, and your right hand has supported me. Your help has made me great. You gave me a wide place for my steps under me, and my feet did not slip. I pursued my enemies and overtook them, and did not turn back until they were consumed. I struck them down so that they were unable to rise. They fell under my feet. For you girded me with strength for the battle. You made my assailants sink under me. You made my enemies turn their backs to me, and those who hated me I destroyed. They cried for help, but there was no one to save them. They cried to the Lord, but he did not answer them. I beat them fine, like dust before the wind. I cast them out like the mire of the streets. You delivered me from strife with the peoples. You made me head of the nations. People whom I had not known served me. As soon as they heard of me, they obeyed me. Foreigners came cringing to me. Foreigners lost heart and came trembling out of their strongholds. The Lord lives. Blessed be my rock, and exalted be the God of my salvation. The God who gave me vengeance and subdued peoples under me, who delivered me from my enemies. Indeed, you exalted me above my adversaries. You delivered me from the violent. For this I will extol you, O Lord, among the nations, and sing praises to your name. Great triumphs he gives to his king, and shows steadfast love to his anointed, to David and his descendants forever. Now, come into the song with me, and when the last line fades, when the echo of praise settles back into silence, I am still here in the same land that once tried to swallow me. The hills have not moved. The stones are still sharp beneath my feet. The wilderness is still wide. But something in me has changed, because the Lord has shown me what the enemy could not, that my life is not held together by luck or speed or the strength of my own hands. It is held by the mercy of God, steady as bedrock, faithful as the sunrise. I have learned that deliverance does not always look like the sudden removal of danger. Sometimes it looks like the Lord teaching a man how to stand while danger still breathes nearby. Sometimes it looks like a heart being kept clean when it would be easier to become bitter. Sometimes it looks like the strength to keep walking when your soul is tired of running. And sometimes, yes, sometimes it looks like the Lord reaching down into the deepest waters and pulling you out. Not because you were strong enough to swim, but because He is strong enough to save. There were seasons when I thought my story would end in a cave, my name swallowed by dust, my calling buried under the weight of another man's jealousy. But the Lord did not let the darkness write the final sentence. He met me in the narrow places and proved that His presence is not fragile. His presence does not depend on comfort. It does not depend on safety. It does not depend on the approval of kings. The Lord is God in the palace, and He is God in the wilderness, and He is God when the path is clear, and He is God when every step feels like it could be your last. And I want you to hear this, because you may be listening from your own narrow place. You may be sitting in a room that feels too quiet, where your thoughts are loud and relentless. You may be driving with your hands tight on the wheel, carrying worries you cannot name to anyone. You may be lying awake while the night stretches long, and you keep replaying what was said, what was done, what was lost, what might happen next. You may be surrounded by people and still feel alone. You may be doing everything you know to do and still feel as if you are being pursued. If that is you, then let this song become more than a story you admire. Let it become a prayer you borrow. Let it become a rope you hold on to when your grip is slipping. Because the Lord who heard me is not a God confined to my century, or my hills, or my battles. He is the same Lord who hears you now. He hears the words you can speak and the ones you cannot. He hears the prayers that come out steady and the prayers that come out broken. He hears the sighs, the silence, the trembling breath, and He is not offended by your need. I have called Him my rock because I have leaned my whole weight on Him and found Him unshaken. I have called Him my fortress because I have hidden in Him when there was nowhere else to go. I have called Him my shield because I have felt the sting of fear and watched His faithfulness stand between me and despair. I have called Him my deliverer because I have lived long enough to see that rescue is not an idea, it is the character of God. And still, I will not pretend that deliverance is simple. There are days when the memory of danger lingers even after the danger has passed. There are days when you flinch at sounds that cannot harm you anymore. There are days when your body remembers what your mind is trying to forget. There are days when you look back and realize how close you came to losing yourself, not only to enemies outside you, but to the enemy within. Fear that hardens, anger that poisons, pride that convinces you must save yourself. But the Lord is patient. He does not only rescue a man from the hand of his enemies, He rescues a man from becoming what his enemies tried to make him. He teaches you to breathe again. He teaches you to trust again. He teaches you to walk without always looking over your shoulder. He teaches you that you are not defined by what chased you. You are defined by the one who kept you. I remember the day the chase ended. Not as a single dramatic moment, but as a slow dawning. It was as if the air itself changed. The tension that had lived in my shoulders loosened. The constant listening for footsteps grew quiet. I could hear the ordinary sounds again. The wind moving through dry grass, the distant call of birds, the soft murmur of my men as they spoke without whispering. And in that ordinary soundscape, I realized something holy. Peace is not only the absence of threat. Peace is the presence of the Lord. So if you are waiting for peace to arrive only when everything is fixed, only when every enemy is gone, only when every problem is solved, I want to offer you a different way. Let peace begin where you are. Let it begin with the Lord's nearness. Let it begin with the simple, stubborn act of turning your face toward Him and saying, "You are my rock." Let it begin with the quiet decision to trust that God is working even when you cannot yet see the outcome. Because this is what I have learned. The Lord does not waste the wilderness. He uses it. He uses it to train your hands, yes, but also to train your heart. He uses it to strip away the false supports you leaned on, so you can discover the true support beneath you. He uses it to teach you to listen for His voice in the dark, so you will recognize it in the light. He uses it to shape you into the kind of person who can carry blessing without being ruined by it. And if you are thinking, "But I am not strong like David," hear me. I was not strong because I was David. I was strengthened because the Lord was with me. I was kept because God kept me. I was delivered because the Lord delights in mercy. If there is any courage in my story, it is borrowed courage. If there is any endurance in my steps, it is given endurance. If there is any victory in my hands, it is the Lord's victory. So as we close this time together, do not rush back into the noise without carrying something with you. Carry this: the Lord hears. Carry this: the Lord is near. Carry this: the Lord is able. And if you cannot carry all of it, carry one small sentence like a stone in your pocket, something you can touch when fear rises again. Say it softly, even if you do not feel it yet. The Lord is my rock. Say it again, even if your voice shakes. The Lord is my fortress. Say it again, even if your circumstances have not changed. The Lord is my deliverer. And if you need to, let your prayer be as simple as breath. Help me. The Lord understands that language. May the God who reaches down into deep waters reach you where you are. May the God who steadies feet on high places steady you on the path ahead. May the God who turns caves into sanctuaries meet you in your narrow place and remind you that you are not alone. And when you rise from this listening, when you step back into your day, back into your responsibilities, back into the conversations and the unknowns, may you go with this quiet confidence. The wilderness does not get to name you. Fear does not get to crown itself king over your life. The Lord who delivered me from the hand of all my enemies and from the hand of Saul is still delivering, still keeping, still faithful. Rest in Him. Trust Him. And when you cannot find words, let the song keep singing in you until your own voice returns. Thank you for sharing this sacred moment with me as we explored these words of hope together. May these words take root in your heart, guiding you through the days ahead and reminding you that God walks beside you in every challenge, every decision, and every act of faith. If today's reflection has brought you hope or comfort, I invite you to pass it along to someone who might need a gentle reminder of God's presence. And don't forget to join me next time as we continue this journey, growing together, deepening our faith, and remaining steadfast in the field of God's promises. Until next time, may you discover peace in quiet moments, trust the gentle call of God, and rest securely in His unchanging love. This is In the Field Audio Bible, where we listen to the Bible one chapter at a time.